Xin chào, what's up everybody? Okay, so this is going to be a virus update for Vietnam. It seems to be getting worse. We did cut our trip short. The CCP virus is definitely flaring up all over Vietnam again. It's not like crazy or anything yet. There's 38 cases that have been communal transferred, essentially, from a group of Chinese guys that tested positive well after their 14-day quarantine, and the Japanese reparated guy. And anyways, let's kind of just jump into the information. All the cities are shut down again, pretty much, like bars, karaoke's. I'm talking Saigon, Hanoi, Da Nang, Nha Trang. Anything that has public gathering, like a bar, club, discotheque, karaoke, gym, street food in some cities is even closed. Lots of closures. They're taking it very serious, and since like millions of people just traveled for holiday, they're super taking it serious. Winnie's all worried. She wants to go get tested for COVID, which whatever, I'm fine with that. I don't think that we have COVID, but I don't have a problem getting the test if that's what she wants to do. I don't think it would test positive now anyways, but so yeah, it really sucks, we cut our trip short. We cut it about a day and a half short. Once things started getting bad, air flights getting changed and delayed, I'm like, we got to get out of here. We got to go back home. I'm a reporter bear here as well. And I said, it's probably a good idea for us to get out of here and let's go home. I'm just going to stay inside for a couple weeks and not, go gallivanting around Saigon. Not that there's much to do since they've closed it down. Hanoi has asked all the kids not to go to school, so school's off in Hanoi. It was crazy driving back from Hoi An to Da Nang. We actually saw the closed hospital and the security around it and all the tape around it, and then all the beaches, they took like a plastic do not enter tape and just did the entire beach line to where you couldn't even access the beach. I'm sure Nha Trang has done something similar. It really sucks, They've got the new India variant here as well, but I think those are all in quarantine. I don't think we've got one that's quite out in the wild, essentially. They're looking for people that stayed at Novotel in Da Nang, which probably means they haven't quite released the information on that yet, but probably means one of the staff there got infected, and they're looking for people that stayed there. We didn't stay there, thankfully. A masseuse in Da Nang test positive as well. So it's just not looking good at all. There's a 6-star luxury boat in Hai Long Bay that had around 200 people on board, and a couple people got tested positive there. So they quarantined everyone on that boat for 2 days, and now they've taken them all off and quarantined them in a facility of some sorts. All this really means is that everything's going to get delayed for any kind of hopeful coming back here. I mean, this is going to set back 3 to 6 more months. I'm going to start saying probably the likely timeline to get here is going to be like the end of next year, middle of next year. It's pretty much not going to be until vaccines are rolled out and everyone's vaccinated is what I see happening. They might do some kind of like passport vaccine visa thing, but they're going to make you stay in like Phu Quoc for 2 weeks. Now they're doing the 2-week quarantine. They're adding days onto it indefinitely because people are testing positive after the 2-week quarantine. So they're now extending that out to, it looks like 21 days again. I don't know how long they'll do that. They've done that before. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear. And of course I'll report anything that happens as it happens. Let me read through here. Yes. Hanoi's fining people, so is Saigon, for not wearing a mask. So if you're in any of these cities, Saigon, Hanoi, Da Nang, Nha Trang, wear your mask when you're out. If you see a police officer, they're going to give you a fine. It's like $34. Why not just wear the mask? Yes, wearing a mask isn't the greatest thing, but it's pretty simple to do. Medical officials suspended from work. There a bunch of people, Chinese people, escaped in Saigon that were under quarantine, and they're desperately trying to track them down. I don't know how that's going. They're just saying they're trying to track them down, but that's also not good. It's just really, we're in a situation to where it's not. Yeah, I mean, the big headline now that they just put out an article: COVID threat looms large as more localities report cases. At least 12 people have contracted COVID-19 from recently diagnosed patients, while a doctor from Hanoi tested positive in an overseas trip. The 12 comprise 8 in hotspot Vinh Phuc province and 1 each in Hanoi, Hoi An, Da Nang province, and Hai Dong province. So yeah, I'm going to, self-quarantine myself. I was in half those places where they have new cases. Do I think it's the possibility that I sat by or was near these few cases in these few places? I doubt it. But I still have no problem playing it safe. Like I said, me and Wynn are probably going to get COVID tested here in the next few days. Hopefully it's negative. I don't want to be in a facility here for 14 days. And if it is positive, I hope they let me do it in like a hotel or something. I don't know. I don't want to be in a facility, though, a Vietnamese facility for 14 days. Further tests are needed to tag them. The 12 comprise. The Hoi An victim, 27, is the wife of patient 2982, who was diagnosed with COVID on Tuesday morning. The man, 28, works in a hotel in Da Nang, and the source of his transmission is yet to be identified. I think that's the Novotel guy. They haven't released it, but it's on other forms of social media like Facebook and stuff like this, so I can connect the dots and tell you that's probably where it's from. All these patients are self-checking themselves in because they're getting a fever and they're feeling fatigued. They're feeling very much flu-like side effects. So I feel nothing. I feel completely fine. I doubt I would be asymptomatic, but again, there's no way of knowing. I'm slightly overweight, so I imagine I would feel some effects, but the Dong Nay province case has also been traced to him. The 44-year-old woman works as the manager in a bar in Da Nang. In contact tracing found that she had come into close contact with one of his F1s, the term used to describe people who come into contact with someone diagnosed later with COVID. So in the northern Hai Dong, a man reported to authorities after it was announced he had been on the same flight with a group of Chinese experts diagnosed later with COVID. So these Chinese guys went all over. They're most likely the spread of it all up in the north. After their 14-day quarantine, they went on like a 2-day vacation before they went into work and went all kinds of places. I mean, there's no faulting them there. They did what they were supposed to do. They tested negative 4 times. They did their 14 days. They monitored their health even after that. 32-year-old woman from Da Nang who sat near the group of Chinese experts on the flight has also been reported by Hanoi authorities as a COVID suspect. The 5 Chinese had arrived in Vietnam to work in early April and were quarantined in a hotel in the northern province of Yan Bay from April 9th to 23rd, during which time they tested negative 3 times. After completing the quarantine, they began to work at Trung Bak Egg Company and continued to have their health monitored for 14 days by local medical staff. They visited many places in the north between April 23rd and 25th, and some returned to China on April 28th. Chinese authorities have since notified their Vietnamese counterparts. The 4 of them have tested positive for COVID. So that goes to show that it's not the greatest idea to allow the expert visa thing in. I think a lot of the things are going to change on what they do depending on how bad this gets and how expensive it gets. My guess is more things are going to close. By the end of the day, Saigon will probably have all the kids stay home. I think we've only got 1 or 2 cases here, but they're not going to play around like Hanoi isn't. So let's see. So far, 1 in Hanoi, 8 more in Vinh Phuc are suspects. so far it's really concentrated on the north still, and you know the 1 or 2 cases in Da Nang and Hoi An. I was told from people in Nha Trang that Nha Trang shut down as well. So that's the information I'm going off that. I haven't seen any direct reports on that, so they could be just bullshitting me. I don't know, but that's, you know, I'm going with... I always try to report the news how I read it from a few different places. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Vietnam malls using electronic tagging on foreign arrivals. I don't know about the great idea on that. Hold on, their app crashes all the time. Let me reload it. It just doesn't sound like a great idea. I was pulled out of the line in every flight during this vacation. All my bags were gone through. I was asked when I arrived here. Yeah, it was a little annoying, but I guess, you know, they're doing their job. Let's see. And a lot of these people, like, were supposed to self-isolate after, and that's been the continued problem of how the last outbreak happened, how this one happened, is they didn't continue to self-isolate after their 14-day quarantine at home. Like, the Chinese guys just decided to go out and, you know, party it up. They went to, like, dozens of places, bars, restaurants, as well with the Japanese guy that was reparated from Japan. He was supposed to stay at home and do more quarantining while getting his health monitored, and they had like a house party for him. He went out and ate with friends. It's the part of leaving it up to the person to self-isolate is where everything goes to shit, you know? And you can't too much blame the people. Like, they just did 14 days, tested negative a bunch. They're like, yeah, I'm good to go. And they were just locked away for 14 days. So I have a little bit of empathy for it, but it doesn't seem to be working well. You know, we've done so well with controlling this thing, and it just takes a few people like that are like, well, we're going to go do whatever we want after our 14-day quarantine, and just not taking it seriously. Look at India right now. We don't want that situation to be happening. It looks like really bad over there. So you can say what you want about the CCP virus. You can have your theories that it's just the common flu. I've never seen the common flu do what it's doing in India right now. It looks like a war zone over there. So, as ever, I will keep you updated. Wasn't the best news. I still have a bunch of content from the vacation. Since I'll be at home for the next 14 days, I'll be going out and I'll be running, during the afternoon. That's really all I'll be doing. And I'll go out to buy groceries. But other than that, I'll just be staying inside. There'll be no socializing or going out to dinner, or, a lot of bars actually are able to stay open through the shutdowns they always have here because they're under the guise of a restaurant, and they very rarely close the restaurants during the lockdowns. So yeah, I'm gonna be a good boy. I'm gonna get tested. I'm gonna do everything I can to do my part to make sure people around me stay healthy, and I don't spread anything that I might have caught when I was on vacation. In hindsight, I probably should have canceled the trip as the first case came about, but I wasn't going to cancel it over one case. Yeah, but I ended up still cutting the trip short. I knew to get home. I didn't want to get stuck anywhere. And yeah, it just was getting worse and worse in Da Nang. So, all right, guys, that is the report. As things change, I will keep you updated. In the meantime, you will see content from Da Nang and Hoi An. So I hope you guys enjoy it. We went to the Vin Pearl Park in Hoi An. It actually had a really good water park and 2 really good roller coasters. So you'll be seeing all that content. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you find this information valuable to you, smash that like button. It helps for the videos to get showed more and more, so more people can see this information as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching. See you on the next one, and peace out.